Welcome to the Texas Heart Institute Library and Learning Resource Center video tutorial on PowerPoint tables and graphs. I'm going to take you through one table and one graph. Feel free to pause at any point and try some of these things out for yourself. I'm just going to jump right in. You can see I've used here, I'm going to right click, layout. I'm using the title and content from this theme here. And it has a content box already here. I can start here with insert table. I can also come here, insert table, or I can just copy paste from a table directly here. It will ask you how many columns and rows. You can select that and then enter your data manually using tab to go between cells. You can also copy paste. I'm going to come over here to a paper of interest. This one's from the European Registry of Mechanical Circulatory Support. And here's a nice table of some of the adverse events that they've seen. They're comparing men to women. And I want to take this data and show it in my presentation. So I have copied it over to an Excel spreadsheet. I can Control-C copy, come here. Even though you can see that my columns and rows do not match, I can go ahead and paste and it still figures it out, makes the correct number of columns and rows of what I was copying over. I don't want to put this much data on one side because it's too much. But if you look at this, essentially events per patient year is the calculation from these two columns. So I don't really need these two columns to show. So you can see if I come above a column, it'll become this black arrow and I can select it and I can hold and drag and select two columns. You can change things to do with the table layout from here's table design that we'll come back to that. But in table layout, I can come here to delete and delete those columns. So now I have just the events per patient year. If I select here, I can do that again, delete column, and then I just have the data that I do want to show. Another way to select a column or a row is to click in a cell and then come up here to select, which is under the layout tab, and you can select a column or select a row. So if I select row, I've selected this whole row. And then I can come and delete the row. And I can edit the text that's here if I want to. I'm going to call this one add men. This one I need to add women. So you can edit the data in any of these cells. If I'm selected in the table, I have these table design options here, and we can use some of these built-in options. You can see right now that the header row is a different color. We can also do that for the first column. Select an option that has a first column and a header row, and we can turn on or off the banded rows for the defaults. You can also do this row by row, or for the whole table, you can set your own options. You don't need to use these default styles. You can pick the shading, the borders for each individual element as you go. It's just a little easier to do it all at once. And you can see that you can use the different colors in this particular PowerPoint theme. So I'm going to go with this one. which didn't quite take. This one. Nope, this one. And under the home ribbon, you have all of your font options, and those you can use. You can also use some of these alignment tools, but you also have under layout, you have alignment for the cells. So I'm going to change my margins to being normal and just center everything just to see what it looks like centered. Select this first column, do some changes. I'm going to make the font white. I'm going to make it bigger. I'm going to go all the way up to 20. And then, so you can hover between the columns and you can see I get an arrow with the up down lines. I can use that to change the width of a column. And if I stretch the whole table from one of the white handles, you can see it stretches the whole table, not necessarily equally. I'm going to make this text also white and 20 point. And you can see that when I did this, now I have uneven columns. If I select these 3 columns at the same time, I can come to the Layout tab. And in the cell size area, I can distribute those columns. So now they're equal width for this bit. If I start messing with these widths, it's going to change like it does in Word, just this bit. It's not going to resize. So every time you do that and you make a change, come back and redistribute to make it even again. And these, I want to make sure that they are left justified. I like them better that way. These are centered, and I will make them bigger as well. Home, so that they're easier to see in the back of the room. 24, okay. And when you select the table, see how I've selected into this particular cell. If you need to select the whole table and you've accidentally clicked in a cell, you can hit escape and that will select the whole table. Or you can come here to layout, and when you're selected in a cell, you can come over here to select table, and then you've selected the whole table. And you can do things like align to realign it in the middle. I can use my arrow keys to nudge it up or down. So I centered it, and now I'm nudging it up so that it looks properly placed here. I'm pretty happy with how this looks. I have one more thing that's kind of bothering me, is this p-value column. It doesn't look very tidy the way it's aligned. So I'm going to use tabs to change this. Here I'm coming back to the home ribbon. Under paragraph, there's this little button that you can push to bring out all your paragraph options. And then down here in the bottom left is the tabs button. I'm going to put this at 0.8, and I'm going to add a decimal tab and hit OK. So I've set the tabs, and so then what I need to do to get it to align to the decimal tab is to come here, and I need to left justify these cells, and then I need to hit Control and Tab, because remember, if you hit Tab, you're going from cell to cell. Control Tab, and you can see up here I have the ruler activated. If you don't see your ruler, you can come to View and check on ruler, and you'll see your ruler, and you can see up here, this is what a decimal tab looks like. You can see that the decimal tab is there. Control Tab, Control Tab, Control Tab, Control Tab, Control Tab. And there I have, these are now aligned at the decimal. So there you have a table. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the chart. Here you have your option to add your content from here. You can also go from the Insert tab. Chart is the option that you're looking for, or this one here that looks like a bar graph. And here you can choose the different kinds of charts that are available: column, pie, bar, area. We're going to choose the line one today, and this one here with the data points, line with markers. Hit OK. It will pop up with an Excel spreadsheet with some dummy data in it. You can come over and select some data that you have in a Excel spreadsheet, or you can type it in directly into that in PowerPoint here. I'm going to hit paste. You can see that it does expand the selection so that the data that is getting charted does come all the way down here. But it does include this extra data here. If I right click, I can delete those columns and remove them from the chart. And you see it updates down here as well. So I'm going to close this data chart and come back to PowerPoint. And if I ever need to change that data, I can click on the chart, and you'll see I get chart design and format up here. Under chart design, I can click on edit data, and that little spreadsheet will pop up again. I have all the same options that I have in Excel. If I click here on this plus button, some of the basic chart elements pop up. Axes, turn them on or off. Axis titles, turn them on or off. Chart title, on or off. The labels, the error bars, grid lines, the legend. So I'm going to leave the axis titles, and the grid lines on. You can, of course, do whatever you like. There are some options here for customization that are built-in options. Or if you want, you can always come to format and do that all yourself. The nice thing over here in format is that you can select the element that you want to be working on. Select chart area, for example, and you can see this is the area that I am going to be applying any changes to. Select the axis. You can see that that would be the area that I would be applying any changes to. So each of these elements you can select here. Another thing that you can do is hit format selection, and that will pull up this formatting sidebar over here. And here you have all those different options that you can choose here as well. You can also click around in the chart itself to make those changes. If you have trouble making those clicks, you can use these options over here or over here in order to select the area that you need. And this one, we're going to switch this to years. And give it a little more information. So this obviously has put in some default sizes. If I click here, I can also control click here, and I can come to the home ribbon and do, again, any of the text changes that I want to here. 14 and 14. In this axis area, there are also some chart options. These axis options here, you can change the max and min. So I want to show this a little bit more, a little less blank space at the top. Oh, but now it's updated the minimum as well, so I want that to be 0. So now I have the range of data that I want showing. And there you have a basic chart already now in your PowerPoint. I'm going to save this, and I hope you will meet me in the next video where we'll add some animation to these 2 slides.